finally starting my YouTube channel. I have been wanting to do this for so long, and I thought I'd just jump in and get it done. So many of you encouraged me, and I am so appreciative of all the nice comments and everything that I got on Instagram. So thank you everyone for the nice comments and the encouragement. I thought about what I would do with episode 1. I thought that I would join in the Seamstress Tag with the other sewists in the YouTube sewing community. It is a series of 12 questions. It was started in the fall by Holly from Holly Dolly. And it is 12 questions that will help you to get to know me a little bit better. I have my bullet journal here with the 12 questions and the answers. So let's get started. Question number 1 is, who are you? My name is Beatrice Fackrell, but everybody calls me Bee. I am a California girl. I live in the San Joaquin Valley in Fresno, California. Fresno is almost in the exact center of California. I've been married going on 27 years to a wonderful man whose name is Jeremy. Hopefully you will get to meet him soon. 99% of the time if you find me at the store, he is going to be someplace there with me. He is by far my best friend and crafting partner. I am also a mom. I love being a mom. I have 2 sons, JJ who is 21 and Elijah who is 18. Both JJ and Elijah have started to take an interest in sewing. I have sewn for them all their lives. And so now I am happy to say that they too are starting to learn how to sew for themselves. So hopefully I will be able to do a small segment with them. So that's all about me. So now let's go on to question number 2. When and why did you start sewing? I've been sewing for well over 30 years. When I thought about the question as to why I started sewing, I came up with 2 reasons. The first one being necessity. I am 5'10", so buying clothes off the rack was always difficult to find something that was long enough to fit me. Over the years, there have been many women who have taught me their techniques and the way they do things in sewing. Because there's always more than one way to hem a skirt, to set in a sleeve, sew a collar, or do the other things that we sewists do. So there you have it. Those are some of the reasons why I wanted to start this YouTube channel. So now, let's go on to question number 3. What is your proudest make? Over the years, I've sewn many garments for myself, my children, my family, and friends. But by far, one does stand out. It would have to be my sister's wedding. I made the wedding dress and the bridesmaids' dresses for that occasion. I remember every stitch, every pearl, every sequin, and every detail. Sewing something so important really built my confidence in sewing for others. Question number 4. What is your most disastrous make? Well, for me, it is again a special occasion dress, but this time it was for me. I had made a Vogue pattern, which was a designer dress by Bagley Mishka. I think I'm pronouncing that right. It was a dress cut on the bias. It was before I had known that you had to stabilize the side seams on a bias dress. I wore the dress for a special occasion and I felt fabulous in it. I wanted to wear the dress again about a year later. I took it out of my closet and had lost the battle with gravity. The dress, because it was cut on the bias, had grown 10 inches. It was unsalvageable and I was never able to wear that dress again. That is why it is my most disastrous make, because so much effort went into making that designer dress, and then I was only able to wear it once. Question number 5 is, where is your favorite place to go shopping? For me, it depends on what I'm sewing. If I am making tract holders or campaign holders, I like to use decorator fabrics and quilting cottons. Both Joann's and Hobby Lobby have wonderful fabrics that I can use for those crafting projects. For apparel fabrics, that is something different. I like to go to a number of sources. With the internet today, I like to go on eBay or fabric.com. Here in Fresno, we have an outdoor open-air auction. There is a vendor there from time to time who will come from Los Angeles. When I go, it's always a wonderful surprise when he's there. Question number 6. What is your most used pattern? It is what I like to call a master pattern. Over the years, I have sewn many garments for myself. When I have found an element or a detail within a pattern that fits me just right, I take a French curve, write down the formula in my bullet journal. Then, when I go to make that detail on another pattern, I set that formula to the pattern so that way, after the garment is finished, I know that it will fit me just right. Question number 7. What is your most dreaded sewing task? That is alterations. I absolutely hate to do alterations. There is nothing worse than finishing a garment, going to try it on, wanting to wear it immediately, and then something doesn't fit. That is why I use a master pattern, so that doesn't happen at the end. Question number 8. What is your favorite sewing task? This one was easy. I absolutely love doing the finishing details on sewing projects. Whether it is a hem, a buttonhole, or sewing on a lining by hand. I love doing the finishing touches because I know that I'm almost done and can wear it soon. Question number 9. What is your favorite sewing entertainment? Well, that really depends on what I'm sewing and who is with me. If I'm sewing a vintage pattern, I like watching old black and white movies. Another thing I like to do is to watch YouTube podcasters, whether they're knitting, crocheting, or sewing. Because like I said, there are so many ways to do the different techniques in sewing. I like to see how others do it. Because even though I've been sewing for so many years, I've even learned new techniques from beginner sewists. Another thing I find myself doing is listening to sports. Although I am not really a sports fan, if Jeremy is in the room with me, it is a good trade-off. That's how you stay married for so many years. He puts up with my craziness in crafting, and I put up with his craziness in sports, and we get along just fine. Question number 10, printed or PDF? I have to be honest. For me, it is printed. I've never done a PDF pattern, although I would love to try one. I had never even known there were PDF patterns out there until I started watching other podcasters. But for now, I have to say it's printed. Patterns here in Fresno, there are a number of shops that sell them, so that it's so easily accessible. What I like to do is I have a board on Pinterest, and when I find something that inspires me or a pattern that I want to sew, I will pin it to my board. Then, when one of the shops here in Fresno has a pattern sale, I go and stock up. Question number 11. What sewing machine do you use? Well, I have to be honest and say I actually have 5 sewing machines. Yes, I do. That's bad. And one of them isn't even a serger. My most vintage machine is a 1938 Sears Kenmore Ben Franklin rotary machine. Another one of the vintage machines I have is a 1953, again Sears Kenmore. This machine was passed on to me by a very special and dear friend. The third machine that I have is a retro style machine. It was made in 1974, and it is the one that is right behind me. This is the main machine that I use for my sewing projects. I always have it left open instead of putting it away in its cabinet, so that when I come home from work, if I only have 15-20 minutes to sew, it's always ready to go. The fourth machine that I have is one that I am getting ready to pass on. It is a brother machine, and it was one that I had used before I received my other 3 vintage machines. It sits on a shelf in my garage in a box, all lonely. The 5th machine that I have is a Singer Heavy Duty 4432. The reason why I bought this machine was because when I'm sewing denim, decorator fabrics, or overall heavier weight or thicker material, I like to use this machine. There is nothing worse than going and trying to sew through layers of fabric and having your needle break, your thread break, or any of the other problems that come with that. That is why I really love the heavy duty Singer models. Question number 12. Do you have any other hobbies? I guess I could say that my hobbies are seasonal. Once the fall season starts coming upon us, I love to do the warmer crafts in knitting, nooking, and crochet. If you have never heard of nooking, it is knitting with a crochet hook. Another thing I like to do is Brazilian embroidery. Even in a simple pattern, putting embroidery on a cuff or a collar is always a wonderful technique. Another hobby that I like to do is woodworking. I have a small wood shop in my garage. Well, there you have it. Those are all the 12 questions and answers. Hopefully you got to know me a little bit better. Thank you so much for sharing some time with me and getting to the end of the video. If you liked this video, please give me a thumbs up, share, and subscribe. You can also leave a comment at the bottom. I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.